Hey students, Miss Flathers here. Today we're looking at how to read guitar chord diagrams. We've got a bunch of little symbols and dots and letters and lines and who knows what's going on. Well, once you know, it's like, how could I not know this? But let's go through it and see what we get. So left-hand fingering formations are shown with chord diagrams, and a diagram is just a fancy name for a picture. A chord in music means that several pitches sound at the same time. We will strum across multiple strings. When we played our first boss song, we plucked one string. But when we strum, we are going to use all strings or several strings. So that's the difference between a pick and a strum. We've got 6 strings here. We've got a real skinny one on the right-hand side, and then a slightly thicker one, and so on. Those are the 6 strings of the guitar. They're all open strings. I don't have any fingers on them. So they have numbers. We call the skinniest string string 1. 1. 6 is big, thick, fat. Because it's thick and fat, it vibrates more slowly and has a lower pitch. Right now, with open strings, all the strings are the same length. So basically what I've got is a harp here. How I'm going to change the pitches? I'm going to add some fingers. So let's see how that works. 6 strings held together with a nut. A nut is just a little piece of, it used to be bone, like a cow's leg bone, and now it's plastic. There are 6 slots in the nut, and they act as little guidelines. Where's my mouse? Little guidelines. Yeah, 6 slots, and they have to be thicker over there to hold that string, but it keeps them at a nice distance apart, and it also helps hold them up off the fretboard so they're not going to be buzzing. So the nut, we remembered, we met Mr. Nut before. The nut is the 0 line. We thought maybe it came from an old word that meant 0. It also may come from an old word that means a slot or groove. So let's look. We've got strings 1 through 6. We've got their actual letter names down there, but we don't need to know those yet. Here come our extra little nuts. They're actually called frets. The frets are metal pieces of wire that are embedded there in the fretboard. And if I put my finger behind it, I put my finger right here and pluck, it's only going to vibrate from this fret onward. So it'll be a shorter string and a higher pitch. We have numbers to the frets as well. Fret 1, fret 2, fret 3. There you go. So the first fret is behind that first metal wire. Open, first fret, second fret, third fret, and so on up to the 12th fret, and then there's a few more. So where our chord diagram is located right here at the top of the neck, right underneath the head, that's our 0 line. Most chord diagrams are just right here. Once you get up here, there could be all sorts of funky combination, but this is where we are for our beginning guitar work. So let's get started with our chord grid. Hello, Mr. Nut. Oh, what's that? It looks like a dot. A dot tells you to press down with your fingertip at that spot. So right now we are on, we've got string number 1 and 1 to 3rd fret. Nice. The dot has a number inside, at least for beginners, and that number tells you which finger to use. We know we're using our 3rd finger, which is our ring finger, because we've started playing in position that our pointer finger, or finger 1, plays the 1st fret. Our middle finger, string 2, plays the 2nd fret, and our 3rd finger plays the 3rd fret. It's a ring finger. All right. So here, whoops, what did it say? Press string 1 at fret 3 using our 3rd finger. Great. Up there, what are those things? Look like some donuts. Oh, they're O's, as in open, or they look kind of like zeros. The O's point out which strings should be left open to vibrate freely when this chord is strummed. So we are not going to impede the full string length. We're just going to let it go. So we're only cutting short string 1, but strings 2, 3, and 4 will vibrate. And that's what it says there, open strings. Nice. Well, what else is that beside the donuts? They're letter X's. Aha, they identify strings that are not needed for this chord. Here, strings 5 and 6 are not used at all. Avoid touching them. All right, so this sound, I will not touch strings 5 and 6, but I will strum 4, 3, 2, 1 with my finger on fret 3 on string 1. And that is a chord. That's the first chord I think we learned. and it's just one of many. 6 basic chords that we are aiming to learn here. This is the first one we learned. It's actually called a G chord, strings strumming 4 3 2 1. This one, the second chord, we had practiced doing the rock hand, also looks like the Quiet Coyote. The rock hand, I'm going to put fingers 2 and 3 almost on top of one another there on strings 4 and 5 in the 2nd fret. And I get to strum every single one. You see there, open string there, play, play, open, open, open. Lovely. That's the one that goes under the boss chord if we want to play it. If I add just one finger there on string 3, it's going to change the character. Take it off, put it back on, makes it a major chord, a happy sounding chord. I can take this whole chord and shift it over one string. I've got A minor. And this one is our peace sign chord. I've got my middle finger on string 1 and move across, skip a string there. My pointer finger on string 3 and then complete the triangle. Strum strings 4 3 2 1. D chord. Fabulous. And our last one, I can take that same peace chord and just move it over to strings 2 and 4. So I've got a nice, I can play a whole bunch of songs just with these few chords. I've got this set up so I can put down any chord, any combination of what they are. I can build it, and they will come. These are our 6 chords that we're hoping to learn right now. We've got up top, we've got G or G major. Down the 2nd chord, E minor. Add a finger for E major. Move that whole thing over to make A minor. Come here for A7, and there's D major at the end. And guess what? That is it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to rerun it and stop at any place to work on those chords, and I will catch you later.